Good afternoon, everyone. We are at 12:31 at the hour right now, giving folks time to come in. Want to welcome you all to the last day of Black History Month 2024. Just want to say hello. My name is Peter or PC Carter. I am honored to be the president of the NIA Colorado chapter. I want to thank you all for attending this session today, which promises to be a great one. And it's talking about giving you 6 quick shifts to elevate your value. And it's going to be presented by Elizabeth Dr. E. Carter, who's the CEO of a company called Appeal. So let's welcome Elizabeth Carter. She is a trailblazing leader, educator, 7-time best-selling author. She has over 25 years of experience in finance, specializing in insurance with Fortune 500 companies. Dr. E has faced and overcome the challenges of being the only woman of color in the room. In addition to being the vice president of clinical strategy, execution, and business operations at Highmark Health, she is the founder and CEO of Appeal Inc., where in both spaces, she is dedicated to breaking barriers and increasing the representation of African Americans in leadership positions. She is not only a corporate powerhouse, but she serves as the treasurer of 2 nonprofits boards in Pittsburgh, and her commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion is evident in her advocacy and leadership roles. With a PhD in education and advanced leadership certifications, Dr. E brings a wealth of knowledge to the table. So join me in welcoming Elizabeth, Dr. E, and if you notice the resemblance, she's also my sister, Carter, a true catalyst for change and empowerment as she shares with us, stuck in neutral, 6 quick shifts to elevate your value. Dr. E.
Thank you, PC. Welcome, NIA, Colorado. I am so excited to be here today. Happy Black History Month. And remember, every day is Black History Month, not just the month of February. I celebrate you here, taking the time out of your day to come and get these nuggets, to have a conversation. We know, especially those of us working in insurance, it has been a difficult climb. I want to share with you a few things today that will help elevate your value in this space. And if you don't work in insurance, these tools are universal. No matter where you work, maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're working on other endeavors, this presentation is for you. I am going to go ahead and share my screen now. First, I want to get a pulse of who we have in the audience. It's 12:30 Mountain Time. I'm on the East Coast. It's 2:30. I want to understand how you're feeling today, and I want you to put your responses in the chat. If you are currently feeling empowered, put a 1. If you are feeling motivated, put a 1. If you are feeling stressed, put a 1. If you are feeling defeated, put a 1. And if you are none of the above, put a 1. Now, why I have you responding the same number is because I want you all to feel anonymous to how you're feeling at this moment. But I will ask you how you're feeling at the end of this presentation, and hopefully you will improve from where you are currently. I will tell you, I'm feeling frustrated. Let me share with you why I'm feeling that way. We may be familiar with these statistics. These come from Pew Research done in 2022. First of all, the Black population is 14.4% of the total population. When we think about leadership, less than 10% are holding managerial roles in organizations. If we think forward towards senior leadership, only about 3.2% are senior leaders. And that number hasn't moved in years, unfortunately. And still, another stalled statistic is that less than 1% of Fortune 500 companies are being led by a Black CEO. That's why I'm frustrated. And that's my mission of appeal, to how to help empower, elevate, allow more African Americans to move into leadership positions. Today, we'll talk a little bit about what keeps us stuck in neutral. There are several reasons why we're having trouble moving into leadership. Then I will empower you with 6 tips to elevate your value. First, we'll talk about what keeps us stuck. Number 1, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is the thought that everything that has come to you has come based on sure luck, right place, right time. But let me tell you, you are talented. You are phenomenal. You have earned and deserve every single thing that is happening to you right now. A lot of times we don't feel that way because we think about, well, that person's better than me. That other person's got more credentials than me. No, you have earned the right to be where you are. Second, limited beliefs. And this is somewhat from our environment. A lot of times we didn't grow up with role models who worked in corporate. I know, for example, my mother worked a little bit and became a housewife. My dad was a teacher and then moved into administration in school districts. If we think about our neighborhoods, a lot of the families, everyone was lay workers, had regular jobs. Nobody worked in corporate. So we never had a thought about, well, this could be something that I could thrive in. Third, fear of failure. And this also comes from upbringing. If you think about it, anytime we did something wrong, we got a slap on the wrist or a smack in the butt. We were told, don't do that. And that fear we carry into our adult lives, where we're afraid to make a mistake. We're afraid to step out on faith because we're fearing that we're going to get our hand slapped. We have to get better at understanding that failure is foundational, not final. Next, other people's opinion. We will have people in our ears telling us what we can do, what we can't do, what we shouldn't do, why there's no one there that looks like you. Why are you trying that? Why are you going through all that pain and torture? And that keeps us stalled. We start to fall into a place of complacency because we're so afraid of moving beyond all those voices in our head, including our own. And that's why we get stuck. And this last one is so important. We are stuck because we have met all the requirements, but we're just not utilizing them. And MET is an acronym. We have spent the money on the tools, the credentials, the degrees, the designations. We have put in the energy, sometimes forsaking our family, our livelihood, sacrificing. We have spent the time, and every minute that goes by, we will never get back. So we have met all the requirements, but somehow we still are stuck. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I am Elizabeth A. Carter. Isn't that a cute little picture? My dad was from Trinidad. My mom's from Georgia. And I tell the joke that if you have a Caribbean parent, if you're not a doctor or a lawyer, you're a loser. So for me, I was supposed to be the lawyer and PC the doctor. And I will tell you, we both entered undergrad in that way, but came out otherwise. For me, after I felt like I failed my parents, I was a drifter. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do next. I sold life insurance. I did overnight shifts in the factory. I worked in retail, went into banking, lots of starts, stops, restarts, and dreams. How many of you have had to start, stop, or restart your dream? Put that in the chat. Start, stop, or restart. Because it's so important that we continually figure out where our purpose is, what our passion is. I will tell you that fear of failure really had me, again, drifting for way too long. I did finally find my purpose, which was in insurance. And now I have what many of us have in the insurance industry, what we call alphabet soup, tons of designations. We always want to have all the knowledge that we need to be successful. I have multiple degrees. I love being able to be a communicator and a leader. So I joined Toastmasters and excelled in that space. Have all this experience in insurance, but I will tell you, it was stressful. And I'm sure for many of you, there are days that are stressful to you also. So with my story of being stuck, again, having all those letters after my name, you would have thought I could do anything, would have all opportunities available to me. I could walk in and they would give me whatever job I wanted, but not so much. In 2016, I was working at an insurance company and I knew I was doing all the right things. I was shaking hands, kissing babies, working at night, doing weekends, raising my hand for anything and everything. But there was a point in time that arose when I got called into my boss's office. And I'm thinking, woo, I am finally going to get promoted. I've been killing myself. They are finally going to recognize me. And instead, they told me I was being laid off. And that was really the day that my life changed. We think that our trajectory in our career is supposed to look like this, but more often it's looking like this or even this. I would say in the chat, put down 1, 2, or 3 if your journey feels like one of these photos. For me, I thought I was number 1, climbing that ladder, doing my thing, but it really did feel like number 2. I was climbing, but I was upside down for sure. And I knew the statistics. I knew it was going to be challenging for me to move up the corporate ladder. And one of the main problems I knew I had was that there was no one ahead of me to guide me, no one to show me the way, no one to let me know when to speak up, when to ensure I had my value displayed. And it was challenging that day when I got let go. And I realized the only thing that was elevated, since I didn't get elevated in my job, was my blood pressure was up, my cholesterol was up, and the number on my scale was up. So I had seen no benefit for me in all these years that I was working, killing myself at my company. And I'm sure many of you have felt the same exact way. There are many days where we are feeling uncertain about our career. We are feeling stuck. We are not really able to articulate our ambitions. We'll have conversations with our boss and they're saying, hey, you're doing a great job, but you're not seeing the benefit of doing that great job. And you really want to be able to become a better version of yourself. So my question to you is, thinking about those areas that are keeping many of us stuck, which ones are keeping you stuck? I would love for you to put them in the chat. Is it that you've met all the requirements, not seeing any benefit? Maybe you're suffering from imposter syndrome, have limited beliefs, have that fear of failure. you are so entrenched in worrying about what other people are thinking and not what you think or believe, that is many reasons when I talk to so many people who get on my calendar to understand what I'm doing and how I did it, it is one or more of these areas that are holding them back. So I'm here to help. I am here to provide guidance, information, suggestions. Now, I will tell you what I will say is not rocket science. It may not even be new. The framework I have is called the YUPS. Because, again, nothing you'll hear is new. You will actually say to yourself, yup, I've heard that before. Yup, I should be doing that. Yup, I saw someone else that had worked for them. I really need to try it. And the three pieces of my framework are these. Set up, and that's about your mindset. A lot of times, and we'll get into this in a moment, it is ourselves that is holding us back. Number two is show up, meaning you need to be in places, you need to be visible. You have to step out of your comfort zone. And then step up means you are now raising your hand. You are now confident. You are now a leader. People are coming to talk to you because they want to know who you are. And I will share with you some steps that you'll be able to do that. I also have for all of you a free gift, and I'll have this come up at the end of the presentation also. There's a QR code you can scan with your phone to get my free gift, or the URL at the top. This is what I call my quick shift checklist. It's a few things, some I will share now, others are different, that allow you to check in to say, okay, am I doing these items? I probably should consider some new activities. And it's just a quick checklist. So I encourage you to please go ahead and take advantage of that free gift. So let's get started with these 6 shifts. First is part of the setup. Going from cloudy to clarity. Often, because we're not getting the right feedback from our leaders, we're not quite sure how to leverage our strengths or our talents. We're not quite sure what we really want to do next. We're cloudy, and it's hard to move forward if you don't have that clarity. And there are a couple of areas that make everything that we're working on feel cloudy. Number one is we are dragging our past with us. And a quick story about me that I still drag, but not so much, is I was in a meeting one day. I was giving a presentation. Again, I'm in finance. I'm always presenting numbers, analytics, recommendations. And I made my presentation, and one of the senior leaders made this scowling face at me and then turned to the person sitting next to him, which was my boss, and whispered some things in his ear. I didn't really appreciate that. And from that point forward, I didn't care for that leader. I didn't respect his authority, because whatever it was he was thinking, he could have said or asked a question in the presentation, or at least come back around to me later to get more information about what I said. If he was questioning my facts, he could have done that. And I continue to drag that past hurt with me, which then enables my imposter syndrome every time I'm in the room with him. I've gotten better with that particular situation, but what are you dragging? Think about, is it a person? Is it a situation? There is something that is holding you back that makes you afraid to move forward. The other piece of the clarity is you have to know where you're going and have that destination. You must be direct and have a clear trajectory of where you're going. I find that I am a victim of what I call shiny object syndrome. I'm doing my thing, working toward my goal. I see something over there. Oh, I want to do that. There's something over there. Oh my God, I want to do that. And now I am totally off my path. And now my destination is further away. Time is passing. Now I am wasting time. So clarity is so important. It will help you move faster to where you want to go. So go from cloudy to clarity. Number 2, part of setup, trade your crumbs for a crew. Now, this might sound hurtful, but if you think about what crumbs are, they're very small pieces of something. A lot of times we have people who are around us that are not providing the right support. They are not helping to uplift us, move us to the next level. We tend to want to hang around people who may not be doing as much as we are, and they start to wear you down. Hey, why are you doing that? Where are you going? What are you working on? Why do you really want to do that? You need to change your environment, and that will provide you the right skills and tools to be able to do so. And here are the types of people that you need to have around you. I call them your board of advisors. First, we need mentors. And I say you need several different categories of mentors. You need people who are where you want to go to provide you guidance and insight. You may need groups of people who have similar interests of you, or for those of us here, we may need other Black African-American peoples to guide us, to help us understand where we may be, I would say, misguided by others, and help get us back on track. If you're trying to transition, you'll want a mentor who is where you want to go so that you can plan your path accordingly and they can assist. Sponsors are those who will talk for you when you're not in the room. I say that the difference between a mentor and a sponsor is that a mentor will help guide you to that door. The sponsor is the one who will open the door to allow you in. You have to make sure you have someone who is advocating, an ally, a spokesperson, someone who knows you so well, knows what you're interested in, knows your passions, because there's a lot of things that they know that you will never have access to. Third are coaches. They allow you to think about what you want to do next. They really help provide probing questions, but allowing you to make your own decisions, be your own creative nature, be innovative, and think about what you truly want to do. Supporters are what I call cheerleaders. No matter what you do, they're loving it. Yes, 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 yes. But you need those people, because there will be days when that one supporter will be what will help and encourage you, make your day brighter and better. Those first 4 you need, because a lot of times in your life, there are blockers. There are people waiting to stab you in the back, take your work and claim it to be theirs, push you out of the way, go around you. You need to be aware of who they are, because sometimes that is what is holding us back. Our belief is that there are so many blockers and not enough supporters. So please be aware of all of these people. If you are missing one of those top four in your life, please go ahead and find someone to help you in this respect. I will tell you, I have a sponsor. He is actually the CEO of my company. We have had great conversations. He knows my passions. We have great conversations about what's happening at work. He gets my perspective as an African-American female about what's going on and how it's being handled. So it's a shared environment, but he's also one that I can say, hey, you know what? I'm considering this over here. Could you have a conversation on my behalf? And it's been very helpful. Next, number 3 of our 6 shifts to elevate your value, showing up You want to go from confined to confident. Now look at that photo. Doesn't she look good? Got those sunglasses on, hand on the hip. Yes, she is it. Now, how do we get to that sense of confidence? First of all, you have to be visible. We in many companies are hybrid. Some of us are working from home all the time. Some of us are in the office some of the time. This has really put a true test on relationships, visibility, being in the know, making sure people know who you are. You have to be visible. If you are remote, turn your camera on every single time. You may be the only one on camera, but you are on camera. You want people to see your face. You want people to see your expressions. You want people to feel your body language, even though you're probably from the chest up. People can still understand and see how you're feeling about the conversation. And as you get more comfortable in doing that, that provides you the availability of being confident. Next is dress for success. This really is one of my pet peeves. If we think about before COVID, most companies were business, meaning suit all the time, the men and the women. And I will provide my age in that when I first started working, women couldn't even wear pants. It had to be a dress or a suit with a skirt and always a jacket. When in the mid, 2010 forward, we went to the sense of business casual, right? We lost the jackets. We still want to be able to have nice shirts, nice pants, coordinated colors, things like that. That was helpful because we do know that having a wardrobe of all suits is very costly. We can now mix and match, which is wonderful. But when COVID came, oh my goodness, I call it casual sloppy. We went to t-shirts, baseball hats, tank tops. We have no idea what they're wearing on the bottom. They could be wearing pajama pants, nothing, who knows? We need to get back to the sense of business. We work in businesses. We serve customers, clients, members, whatever it is that is generating revenue for your organization, that's who you serve. I find that when I'm dressed up, I feel a lot more confident. I stand tall, chest out, I'm walking, got my heels on. You can't tell me anything. When I'm sitting at home, potentially in my pajamas and bathrobe, not so much. So thinking about how do we go to become confident, attire creates a different sense of feeling and confidence. Next, number 4 of our quick shifts is going from left out to brought in. How many of you have been left out of a meeting? If that's you, put me in the chat. If you've ever been left out of a meeting, put me in the chat. Yeah, that's happened to me a lot. And it's challenging because we all know what skills we bring to the table. We know that there is probably a meeting happening where there's a question, concern, insight where you have the answer. So I want to be able to help you think about how do you go from being left out to brought in. The main one, be a resource. You have to let people know what you bring to the table. And that's not boasting. A lot of times, especially African Americans, we're very weak on promoting ourselves. We're very humble. But unless you tell people or someone else is telling others on your behalf what you bring to the table, they don't know. We all have so many things that we've done in the past. I was just talking to someone a little while ago. She's working in project management right now, but she's a doctor. She's an MD from India. She came here, was working in pediatrics. So if there's something going on, they would never think to ask her anything that pertained to medicine unless she disclosed or raised her hand to say, hey, you know what? I know all about this. We have to share our vast background. For me, I was asked the other day, hey, you've been working in finance forever. What's with this training and performance improvement thing? I said, well, it's not a thing. It is something that I bring to the table, which that came from me being in finance and people not understanding what the finances meant to the organization. When I built training to share with them, here's what they do, how it aligns, and how every decision they make impacts the financials, and then they got it, I found my passion. I wanted to help other people understand the finances, and I was the trainer to tell them how it all came together. And that's what birthed my passion for training and performance improvement. I am now a resource for finance teams, and I did lead an entire development program for the finance organization at my company because I had that skill set and no one else had it. And guess what? I came for free. I did it at the side of my desk. They didn't have to hire a consultant or some other group to come in and pay them thousands of dollars. They just paid me my normal wage. But it still gave me the exposure to be in rooms where I would not have been otherwise, to be called upon to do projects I would not have otherwise. So think about what other skills do you bring to the table and let people know what they are. Next, the other piece, number 5 for step up is how do we go from being new to known? If you are new to your organization, put new in the chat. Maybe you're new to the organization, new to your team, new anything, put new in the chat. That is one of the reasons why we stay complacent. We hate being that new person. But boy, I hate starting from scratch. I hate being new. I love where I'm at. My company, I've been there 10 years. I know everybody. I know everything. Why leave? But if you're not growing, it probably is time to leave. But you have to know how to be that new person and move quickly to be one who will be known. How you do that is by expanding your network. You want to meet as many people as you can. I also use what's called the snowball effect. When you talk with one person, you get to meet them, understand what they do in the organization, you share how you add value to the organization. You then ask them, who else do you think I should meet? And they should offer you at least one name. I always try to offer 3 names because I know, especially in this industry, relationships is key. It is not necessarily what you know or how many letters are after your name. It is who knows you and who they know that they can connect you to. That is how you can elevate and be involved in other projects that other people will be jealous of. But you also have to lean in with your strengths. Again, self-promoting who you are and what you bring to the organization. One little tip I will tell you, especially because we're in this hybrid environment, what I do when I'm in the office, I go down to the cafeteria. I may bring my lunch from home, but I am down there, I won't say snooping, but I'm looking to see who's there. I want to see who I could meet or who could connect me with someone else that I need to meet. Already 3 times I've done that and I've connected to somebody who has been able to help me with something else I'm working on, or I was able to help them with something that they are working on. That is how you move from new to known. You have to expand your network and ensure you meet as many people as you can. And if you're working remote, reach out and get on their calendar for 15-minute coffee, virtual coffee. You're home with your coffee, they're wherever they are with their coffee, but just have a conversation. People love talking about themselves. Expand your network. Number 6 is going from perplexed to profound. And I tell everyone, you are being judged well before you open your mouth. So when you do, you better make it good. Make it good. And what I provide is this acronym I love, is that you need to ensure your conversations are profound. And profound is positively reflects our finest observations, uniqueness, intelligence, and determination, because they're thinking that that won't happen. So we must be very deliberate when we provide information, when we raise our hand. We want to make sure that they'll be like, wow, I'm impressed. But you shouldn't be impressed. You should know that we belong there. Going back to imposter syndrome, you belong there. And I'll share this extra little tip that I found on LinkedIn, which I loved, because a lot of times people will raise their hand to talk just to hear their own voice. This framework is called WAIT. And this is, do you need to wait before asking your question? And it has, I love it. WAIT is, why am I talking? And we want to, again, make sure that we're clear and know the reason why we're asking a question. And I love that it's really something important to say or have an on-topic contribution. How often have you been in a meeting and someone raises their hand, something totally not about the meeting, something totally separate, and then you're off track, and then the meeting's over and you got nothing done? Have you been in that kind of meeting? If you've been in that kind of meeting, say, I've been in that meeting. I've been in that meeting. So I love this framework because a lot of times we have things we want to share, but we may not know if it's the right place to share it. So I love this framework, and be able to think about the next time you're in a meeting and you want to be profound, but you might need to wait with that comment. So those are the 6 quick shifts. I actually got more than 6. You got a lot of meat inside those 6 to elevate your value. Go from cloudy to clarity. Trade your crumbs for a crew. Go from confined to confident. From left out to brought in. From new to known, and from perplexed to profound. I hope you all had your pen and paper, that you were taking notes. Lots of great ideas here for you. Again, if you'd like that free gift, here is the website, www.eac-appeal, that's 2 A's, 2 P's, EAL.com/free-gift.html, or you may scan that QR code. So again, these tips you probably have heard before. You are saying to yourself, yep, I know I need to get out and network more. Yep, I know I need to stop being behind, camera off. Yep, I know I need to make myself more visible in the office. Yep, I need to get more clarity on my destination. Sometimes we have to hear these tips multiple times. Marketing says that you need to hear something 7 times before it sinks in. So this was your first time hearing it or your 7th time hearing it. I hope there was something that you are finding beneficial to you. Now, I'm big on action planning. I love to be able to share tools, information. And I know a lot of times we'll walk away. We've got a handful of notes. Where do those notes go? On the shelf, never to be looked at again, into a filing away. Like, oh yeah, remember that seminar? That. I want to share with you what I call the 3-2-1 action plan. First, review your notes while they're still fresh in your head. Second, you probably wrote down multiple things. Pick 3 that you think would have the most impact quickly. of the three, pick two you will do tomorrow. Tomorrow is March 1st. We are already 2 months going into month 3 of the year. There is so much time that you have to move forward and change some of your behaviors so that you can be elevated by and the second quarter, third quarter, year end, whatever your time frame is. And the last piece of this is accountability. Another area that we lack, accountability to ourselves or to someone else. Share one of your action items with someone else and ask them to check in on you. And they will, trust me. They will call you and say, how's it going? What's going on? How's it going? I will tell you, in the space for me, even though I have all of these things I'm working on in corporate, I needed to take some time for myself. Another area to elevate your values by making sure that you are taking care of yourself. I am taking ballroom dance lessons. I have a girlfriend of mine who calls me to check in. Hey, how's it going? Did you have a lesson this week? What did you learn? Because she wants to make sure I stay on track. But I'm loving it so much that I am staying very much on track for that. So accountability is key, again, for someone else to check in on you, see how you're doing. We can easily get distracted and lose track of our focus. So pick someone, family, friend, coworker, whoever it may be, to help you with these action items. So now where are we at? 12 minutes after 3 my time. I would love to entertain some questions. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can read. All right. I have a couple of questions in the open Q&A. First question, how did you find success in insurance that wasn't commission-based? Working in, for me, I worked for Allstate, The Hartford, AIG. They sold to farmers, and now I work in healthcare. So I did most of my tenure in property casualty. Now I'm in healthcare. I found success in what we'll call the shared services. Those are areas like HR, finance, product, all those support pieces that support the areas that are commission-based. You can add a lot of value there. I've even supported product management. I have supported IT, lots of infrastructure in the corporate office for insurance companies, and they need resources. So that's how I found success. Nothing I do is commission-based. Now, there are annual bonuses that come along in working in this part of the insurance arena. So there is a benefit that looks like commission, which is based on how well the company does. So there is still some elevation of monetary money in this part of the corporation. The second question from the same person, thank you. As an HR professional in the insurance industry, I find there's a large gap coming in workforce skills. Do you have suggestions or resources to engage younger people in careers in insurance? Yes, it's interesting. There's a lot more programs at universities now that are degrees in insurance or risk management, but I find that there's still a lacking in soft skills. Some of that is university-based, but I also believe that we need more robust onboarding inside our organizations. We may have intern programs, we may have other development programs, but we need those to be more robust, where we don't just put them in departments and let them serve the department. We need to really provide them soft skills. And actually, I'm gonna make a little plug right here, and we're gonna raffle something off in a minute. I just was part of this book called Essential Soft Skills for Effective Leadership. And it talks about these skills: empathy, integrity, creativity, organization, problem solving, time management, emotional intelligence, communication, collaboration, and adaptability. I agree with you that we definitely do need to focus in more on those soft skills. That is what people are looking for today, Because if you think about it, everything else is going to be automated. It's going to be AI and robots. So the soft skills, these interactive tools is what will definitely be needed. So I really believe that it's a matter of how do training departments work on those skills, not just the technical skills, I call them. What else can universities do to provide those skills to students? Or we as professionals, we volunteer our time. We go in and talk to the university students. We'll talk to the risk management clubs or the insurance club about what else they need to be successful. So I thank you for those two questions. If anyone else has questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A section. This way I can see it very quickly. But I thank you so much for those two questions.
Yeah.
Was there anything that came through the chat, PC?
Yes, there was a question that came through the chat, but before I do that, I wanted this to piggyback on the resources of such engaging younger people, because here in
Yes.
NIA, especially NIA, Colorado, that is something we're trying to do. And I love your point of going out to the universities, and it's even going so far as getting out into the high schools and having people see people who look like them being successful in places that they might not even know exist. Explain to them what the insurance industry looks like, because people still don't understand. They think it's still knocking on doors, selling life insurance. Insurance is much broader than that. And so the more we can educate our younger people as to what it is, what it isn't, how it's viable, and if you get into the agency ownership space, how we're talking about generational wealth, passing businesses down from parents to sons and daughters and the granddaughters and grandsons, that's how we can also help to educate and bring those people into the fold.
Awesome. Thank you so much, PC, for that. Thank you so much.
So another question was in the chat was, tell us about your author works.
My author works, I have several. I guess I can turn around here. I similarly, as I talk about, I want to empower African Americans to move up in leadership. I have two books. Actually, something was falling behind me here. I have a couple of books I've written. One is called Gaining Access to Lead Yourself, and then the subsequent book was Gaining Access to Lead Others, because you can't lead other people until you have yourself together. I published those back in 2018, 2019. I've also been part of several different anthologies. I also curated my own anthology last year called Letters to My Corporate Sisters, Stories of Endurance, Elevation, and Encouragement, where myself and 10 other women shared their stories of the struggle in order to allow other women to understand that they're not alone, but similarly for allies and others to understand what we've been through so that they can help make the journey easier. I also helped publish PC's and my dad's autobiography called A Black First is the first one. The follow-up was A Black First, The Blackness Continues. He talks about his life similarly as the lone Black wolf in many aspects of his life, from coming over from Trinidad with his mother, going through schools, mostly all white school systems, to being one of the few Black administrators in several different school districts. So those are my works. And again, I'm really about empowering others to be able to understand that others have gone through it. Here are some tools for you to be able to learn from it so that your journey is a lot easier. And I won't say easier, but a lot easier, but there'll still be a struggle.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. As you think about those 6 shifts, and we know you're accomplished, you've done a lot. Are there any one of those 6 where you're still, working? I wouldn't say getting stuck, but where do you think your biggest challenges are?
I think for me, it's still some of the networking and asking for help. Again, we're all similar, very modest, don't like to ask for help, but we thrive on help and relationships. So even as I work on curating some of my projects, I feel like, oh my God, I can't ask that person for this or that, but I know what I'm offering is going to be so valuable to them. And when I talk about it, I'm so passionate. So for me, it really is continuing to create a bigger network for myself, and then be able to have conversations where I really want to empower them and share what I know with them to help them. So that's where I'm still a work in progress. But thank you for asking.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And someone did put in the chat that they would like a link. So I'm not sure if you want to drop something in the chat when we're done. How
If you
people
could,
can-
know what, you could just drop my website, and then there's a link for books, or they can go in and just send me an email, and I can let them, talk about which books they're looking to get, and then we can finalize from there. So thank you.
Once again, give people time. If you have any other questions, please put them in the chat.
Let's see, was there any others? Oh, we got that one. All right, well, I'll continue on. I have a few more things here. We got through our objectives. What is keeping us stuck in neutral? And I empowered you with 6 tips to elevate your value. So to close, I have my closing question. In the beginning, I asked you how you were feeling. I want to know how you're feeling now. Put a 1 if you are feeling empowered. Put a 2 if you're feeling motivated. Put a 3 if you were stuck, but now you have the tools to shift. And number 4, all of this, all of it. So go ahead and put your responses in the chat, because it was my goal to move you from wherever you were to a place where you are empowered, you are motivated. If you were stuck, now you have 1, 2, 3, or 10 ideas that you can do immediately that will get you unstuck. So I appreciate everyone's participation in this session today. And I will put here my contact information. I am on LinkedIn. Please feel free to connect with me. I love to be able to connect. Anything else that you are working on, would love to be able to have a conversation to see what else you may need to move from being stuck, or other situations that you're needing to bounce some ideas off of. Again, sometimes we don't have anyone to talk to because there's no one nearby that looks like us or that we think understands our situation. I've seen it and done it. I'm probably someone who can offer some insight to you no matter what you're going through. Because the great thing about me still working in corporate is that I am living it every single day. So what I'm learning, I'm sharing with my clients because I'm living them right now. It's not like I was in corporate and left. I am still embedded in it because I want to be able to see the shift, and I want to be part of the change. I need to be able to know how I can elevate others and change those statistics, but I have to still see what's going on, what's new, how can I provide new tools to new individuals so that they can grow and elevate their value.
We have a couple additional questions that came in.
All right, great.
So one question was, should you suggest, or do you suggest having yearly goals?
I suggest having yearly goals, but you need to review them, I would say quarterly, because life changes, projects change, organizations change, teams change. So what you may have laid out January 1st may not all be relevant come December 31st. I suggest at least having a set of goals, but check in on them. And if you need to change them because, again, the environment has changed, do so. Or if there's something that you definitely want to add, you can do that. Anything that's off the table, do that. So I suggest have some type of guidepost of goals, but allow yourself grace and flexibility with them.
That's a great answer. Thank you. And then the last question that came up was, will you be sharing the slides with the attendees?
Sure, I'll be able to send that to PC. He has the attendee list. Happy to share them. And happy to have a conversation again if someone feels this presentation may benefit their organization or their team or their organization, would be happy to come in and share my ideas with them.
Oh, one last set of questions that came through. Do you ever feel overwhelmed? And if so, how do you incorporate such times into your elevation strategy?
Ooh. Yes, I do sometimes feel overwhelmed. And that's because, going back to the goals, I have multiple goals I'm trying to achieve at the same time, many of which are time bound. For example, I'm working on several different speaking presentations right now, and I need to be able to focus in on each one of them to be properly prepared. What I find is that for myself, no one actually really knows but me how much effort I put into what I do, because it always comes across like I put a lot of work into it, because I have. But in my head, I probably put in 85%, but I really wanted to put in 105%. What I do is provide myself grace to say what items are not going to be perfect, because perfection impedes progress. So let it go. Do your best, but you can do it again better the next time. You have to get started. So for me, don't let progress impede me. I go with what I have. A lot of things I can talk about with no preparation. And I allow myself to remember what I didn't do and say, okay, next time I'm going to do this. I will enhance it the next time by that. There's always a next time. Again, even though you may fail, you get back up and you do it again better the next time. So that's how I really work on the overwhelm, is that I just take a moment to breathe, know it'll be okay, and know that it's not detrimental. Nobody's gonna die from it, but I can improve it the next time. So that's how I work on my own overwhelm.
Perfect. Well, definitely lots of gems, lots of notes that I took down. Definitely talking about MET, going from cloud to clarity. I love that. Making sure you're profound. I'm actually going to ask you for that slide. I'm going to start incorporating that in meetings to open them up and saying, before you ask a question, wait. I love that. And so for those of you that came in late, or maybe you came in around the meeting in the middle, this is being recorded, and I will be getting that up on our website, as well as having a link to it on our LinkedIn page. So you'll be able to go back and watch it again, share it with your colleagues, your friends, your coworkers, etc. There's definitely lots of gems that have been dropped. And in the last 2 minutes, I know Liz, or Dr. E, sorry, you talked about you wanted to do a giveaway of one of your books. So
yes. So I have several books. I kind of rattled them off when someone asked about my writing. So I have this book, my Essential Soft Skills for Effective Leadership. And PC, were you going to run? Let me stop sharing here. Were you going to run your wheel of names?
Yes, I am. I'm going to do it on the side. Let me unpin you as well. Let's go ahead and spin it. And it's Sarah D.
All right.
So Sarah D is
She's the one that wanted some books anyway. So good. We can take care of this also.
Perfect.
Excellent. All right. And the other one I have is my dad's books, A Black First, A Black First, A Blackness Continues.
All right, we'll spin again. And that's for Esther C.
Okay. All right. We'll see how we get in contact with her. All right. Then the last is my book, Letters to My Corporate Sisters. And this also comes with actually a journal for you to record your thoughts as you read the book. So Letters to My Corporate Sisters.
All right, last one. And we are at the hour, or the half hour.
Yes.
And that is going to Taja. Hopefully I said your name right, T-I-G-A-H. So thank you all for attending. I will reach out to each of you individually to get your contact information so we can send it to you. Dr. E, appreciate your time, your engagement, your wisdom as always. I appreciate you. I definitely will be
Thank
looking
you.
and driving my goals based on those shifts, and I hope everyone here is able to do the same. Thank you all very much. Concludes our Black History Month programming. For those of you who are in Colorado, we have a CE class we're sponsoring on the 14th of March at CU. You hopefully receive information about that. If not, you can hit our email address, contact@niacolorado.org. Everyone, have a great rest of the day, great rest of the week, and be safe.
Thank you all.